Hi guys, sadly I'm still wearing the same dress and I have the same room and my window's still open. As you can see, it's a pretty nice view. But hi, welcome to my fourth vlog of term 4 and my last vlog about Lord of the Flies. So yes, as you know, I did forget to bring my book home. However, I'd like to delve deeper into smaller symbolisms or smaller things that I really liked about the book. Well, some of them I don't like, but I found interesting at least, which I think is enough to me. Because at the end of the day, books are supposed to entertain you. They don't always have to be mind opening. Sometimes you just want to read something that'll entertain you. That's why there's so many books around, just to entertain, you know? So I'll start off with one that's pretty common and I think a lot of people get. It's the conch shell. Remember the one that showed it was a symbol of power between the boys, which I found very interesting because the writer decided to make a symbol to show who's in power. He actually added a conch shell to the story to really symbolize it, which I like, especially when it gets destroyed. That's when things started to go downhill. Rip Simon. like when that happened, it really told me when I was reading the book that, oh, stuff's about to go down and they're not gonna try their hardest anymore to stay civilized, are they? Yeah, but that's skirting the surface a bit. Now I'd like to talk about the actual title of the book, The Lord of the Flies, the pig's head on the stick. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure The Lord of the Flies is a title for a literal demon named Beelzebub, a demonic or satanic figure in Christian mythology. But yeah, usually it's a symbol of chaos and evil. And I think that's a suitable name for the book because the boys do succumb to evil and chaos at the end of it. And what I liked, I wrote down specifically the line because I found it very nice and interesting, was when the Lord of the Flies, when Simon meets the Lord of Flies and kind of hallucinates this thing, it tells Simon, I am part of you, which is to me, it shows that it's not only this it's not a literal devil named Beelzebub coming as a pig on a stick, corrupting the boys outwardly, externally. This thing came from inside. It was always there. It was always there to begin with, which I found very interesting and very nice and symbolic, because when the pig head on the stick is literally named the Lord of the Flies, yeah, everything feels very external, which is kind of one-dimensional for me. But when the Lord of the Flies meets with Simon, it's I am part of you. It really shows how most of this evil stuff and chaos that the boys have done and are capable of started from within and didn't necessarily come from external sources, which is I think it's a neat little detail. That's why I wrote it down here. And now I would like to move on to the fire. To me, when I was reading the book, I felt the fire was dual symbolizing. So it symbolized two things. So meaning, which I also felt connected to the boys, because the fire, when they light the big fire to try to get boats or planes to notice them, that symbolized, to me, it felt it was giving hope to the boys. It was giving them a reason to go on. But when they used the fire in the final hunt, that was when I was oh, this thing that was initially used for hope and was a sign and a reason for the boys to keep moving on and trying to stay civilized and everything, was now corrupted by the boys themselves into something of savagery and just general chaos, which I find actually very interesting. I like that because it showed how something like fire that at first was a controlled fire, keyword controlled, it was only there for a signal so that boats passing by or planes would maybe notice, ended up being corrupted and started metamorphizing into something that was used for chaos, something that represented fear and evil from the boys. And I liked how the fire itself isn't inherently portrayed as evil like itself. It's not inherently portrayed as dangerous. It's who wields the fire. Or more correctly, what mindset does the wielder of said fire have? Because remember, at the start, the boys were using the fire as something that they could hope for. But towards the end, they were using it for something more chaotic and more evil. Which is like, I think that was very niche, and I really enjoyed that. Even though it's like, it might not seem like a big thing, but I do really like small, like symbolic things like that. So yeah. Thank you for tuning into my last vlog. I hope I see you guys in grade 10. I might still wear the same dress in all my vlogs, but really thank you for tuning into this vlog. Bye!